Okay, now we're going to look at the color selection tool. With the color selection tool, we can select any one area of color. And we're going to look at selecting the white background on this portrait and masking it out. To do that and to see what our result is, I'm going to make a colored shape in the background here. I'm going to put it behind here so that when we mask off the background of this guy, we see the blue background. So you can actually see what we're masking. Okay. Now I'll select our guy layer right here. Select this photo, and let's go up here to select. Scroll down to color range, and you can see nothing happens here initially, depending on what color you select. So if I select with this eyedropper white, I'll move this a little closer. Now I can change the fuzziness to tell Photoshop what actually to select. And now I want to look at this image here, and I can see that when I click on this, the original photo, it's going to select all this white area. And what I'm looking for is just a nice clean black edge with a little bit of fuzz to it. I want to Photoshop out his hair pretty well, but I don't want to blow it out so much that I can't go in and capture these highlights on his neck right there. I may need to go do some fine detail work. We may need to do this a couple of times, but right about there, it's probably okay. We'll be careful when we do this selection. Okay, so I'll click OK. Now you can see all of these things are selected. I'm going to press Command H to hide those dancing ants. If you've never done that before, it may hide Photoshop. Make sure you select the option in the pop-up box that says hide transform controls, or hide selection, I think it should be. Okay, now that selection is still there. Now what we can do is I can just click and make a mask out of that. And so now I've masked our guy with this background layer. Kind of a cool effect. It's all blue back there, and that is the masked area. But I actually want to select the inverse of that mask. So remember in our class the other day we talked about creating the inverse selection of that. So I select the mask layer and press Command I, and it will invert my selection. All right. Now it's looking pretty good, but when I did that selection, it selected everything that was white on the screen. I want to show you this so you understand what's going on, and now we can fix and kind of edit this a little bit. Okay, so now if we get our brush, we can go back and let's switch this up right here. We can press X to switch from white to black. White will cover up our mask, and then we can bring back all this quality of this guy's face right here, and we could go through and do that. Okay, let's do that. But if we did that, you can see I'm still kind of doing a lot of hand work. I'm still going through and doing all this, and I have to go and be really careful around this edge, and it kind of defeats the purpose of the mask a little bit. Okay, so if we go back, and this is not hidden, or let's delete this mask or deselect it. Let's deselect this mask. Let's create a mask first. Now we'll go through and we'll grab the color range right here. We'll grab the color range, that same color range. Let's click OK, and oops, there we go. We'll click OK on that. Select the color range. There we go. Okay, we got the color range here. Perfect, that's good to go. All right, now we can hide this. And now I'm going to kind of work in the opposite way, and I'm going to select my mask and get the black brush here. So now I'm just going to deselect the background. Now I just have to go around the edge of his head and deselect the color there. Okay, and it should get much closer. I could get a closer selection on that, but this is going to get much closer. I'm going to actually change my brush to this hard brush right here. That way I can get right to the edge. And now you can see right here, it's selecting a shirt because it's the white color range. We might want to use some other selection tool to get to that right there. But more importantly, this is getting his hair pretty well. Look, I just went with one big pass right across his hair, and that works really well. Now I want to get as much as I can, get into those glasses. I'm going to grab some of those highlights in the glasses. I'm going to have to go back and edit those out. Even I go kind of into his face a little bit. We can use some other tools, but really I'm getting the black of his beard. Now his neck is going to be tricky as well, but I'm getting a lot of the difficult parts. Okay, I'm getting that cheek right there still. I need to refine that a little bit, but really the hair, that's the part where it's really difficult. Okay, and I've masked that off well. I could use some different selection tools to fine tune his neck right here, and to really get that close, but it's pretty close. You see the original image right here, right there, okay, and now we took this and we cropped him out and put him on a colored background. It would be very difficult to mask off or create a path with all that hair, or to do that yourself. So that is one of the beauties of the selection tool, is you get all that hair. You can even do another color selection, and you could see we kind of lost some of those fine details right in here. We could do another color selection and go back and bring those details back a little bit. Okay, the last thing with color selection is with this layer, I'm going to create a new layer, and you can even create a new layer here, and then actually bring this up right here. I'll duplicate this layer, and we can dodge and burn to get these little highlights out of his hair right here. So I'm going to get this, let's see, the dodge tool will lighten things, the burn tool will darken things. I'm actually going to bring this along the edge just a little bit, just to darken all the white kind of halo highlights that were around the edge of his hair. And see, if you do that too much, it gets a little chunky. I might want to refine my mask just a little bit to make it a little fuzzy. But you can take off that just little tiny white halo by dodging and burning. If I see the before and after, see just a little bit right there. Right on this kind of top edge right here, you can see this little halo effect go away just a little bit, and it brings back just a little more of that detail, which is nice. Okay, so use that dodge and burn tool just to take away a bit of that that halo on the edge. If I take this down, actually let's select the shadows, the darker highlights. I might grab a little more and grab some things that I may have missed right here. Now we'll go to highlights. Did I miss any of those little highlights, and kind of darken his hair a little bit? Grab all those right here, even for his beard. Let's grab those in the beard, and then change this to midtones again. And there we go. Get that little detail in his beard. Now you can see, there you go, you see we grab back a lot of that hair right there, and it just looks a little more crisp. Okay, so there's the color selection tool on a portrait background.